quality and development in one of the leading banks. It's known as India's international bank, which has branches throughout the world. And later on, I entered into education field. For the last 25 years, I've been teaching. I've taught over 12 universities, Australian, Indian, and UK-based universities. I am also an internal quality assessor for some of the degree offering organizations like OTHM, ATHM, Qualify, UDU Qualify. You must know from whom you are learning. I feel I am competent enough to talk on risk management because the banker, every decision which the banker takes, it involves risk. So we will be learning a lot on risk management. I don't say risk management is assuming importance. Instead, I say it is an imperative, indispensable, and integral part of any business for that matter, be it an entrepreneur, self-employed, or professional, MNC. The risk is an integral part of any business. So you'll be learning a lot on enterprise risk management. And second comes risk management in banks. And thirdly, it is risk management in insurance company. Being a banker, I would like to make a statement. Financial sector is a mirror to the economy. What happens in the economy, the entire thing, if something goes wrong with the financial sector or for that matter, even insurance sector, that affects the economy as a whole. So we'll be covering almost more than 40 lessons, covering banks, insurance, and of course, corporate sector. So let's go ahead. Are you ready to take this class of learning all about risk? You would have heard about CEO, CFO, COO, but have you heard about CRO? Now most of the MNCs world over they are appointing CRO. What do you mean by CRO? The Chief Risk Officer. So the risk is assuming such a great heights that they are appointing a chief executive to take care of the risk. So we'll be starting with definitions, descriptions, this being the first class. Let's go ahead. What is risk? In a layman's language, if I ask anybody, you will say risk is something danger, something peril, something hazard. But there are certain definitions. We'll see some definitions given by the established organization and one or two statesmen, popular figures who have given their own definition. Let's go ahead and learn what is risk. Risk is an uncertain event which may occur in the future. So risk is uncertainty. Need not necessarily be dangerous. In fact, as we go ahead, if you see what is written at the end, not all risk is bad. Some level of risk must be taken in order to progress, prevent stagnation. You have to take some calculated risk. Every business, the risk is embedded in the business. So every, whether it is individual businessman or an entrepreneur or a company, they have to take some risk. Otherwise, they cannot progress. Otherwise, there will be stagnancy. Risk may prevent or delay the achievement of an organization's unit's objectives or goals. What is the goal or objectives of any company for that matter? Or even if it is your own entrepreneurship, ultimately I want to make profit. If it is not only for me, for my family, then if it is MNC, the main objective of any MNC is to increase the wealth of the stockholder. Then come stakeholders, at least stockholders. Stockholders means who have contributed, who have purchased your stocks. So the main goal of any business is to increase the profitability. Why they have to increase the profitability? They have to share that profits with all the stakeholders so that they will be in a position to increase the wealth. Risk is not certain. Its likelihood can only be estimated. Probability. Okay. I told we'll continue a couple of definitions. Risk can be defined as the volatility of returns, particularly when we talk about investment. What is volatility? Volatility is fluctuation. All of a sudden it may go up or it may come down. Okay, so it is a volatility, particularly in, if you are talking about capital market, investments. Higher the volatility, higher the risk. But if higher the volatility, return is also higher. So you have to take a risk. The volatility of return is directly or indirectly influenced by numerous variables, which are called risk factors. It may be macroeconomic factors, it may be microeconomic factors. When I say macroeconomic factors, like the GDP growth of the country, the inflation in the country, the interest rates prevailing in the country, the unemployment rate in the country, your forex reserves, how much reserves, all these are macro factors. Then comes micro factors. Micro factors which is specific to that particular sector. Say for example, now telecommunication sector is not doing well. Similarly, hotel industry may not be doing well. So they are specific. So all these factors affect the volatility. Either it may come down the rate, the return. Here the risk we are defining with a particular reference to the returns. You are invested in some company and your expected return is, let us say, 15%, whereas they are giving only 12%. Or if your expected is 15, they are giving 20. It may be so. This type of volatility, the risk in this particular reference defined with a particular reference to the your returns and investment. Now, because see, you will be doing some assignments and maybe there may be some examinations. When you have to write, you have to use that appropriate words. You cannot use colloquial words. Now, for example, there are certain organizations, how they have defined the risk. There is Institute of Risk Management. There is GARP. I don't know whether you heard about GARP, Global Association of Risk Professionals, one of the leading institute in the risk. So these institutes have defined what is risk. When it comes to your assignments, my dear students, please remember you have to write this definition. Okay, what is that? ISO guide, ISO 31000. There is another organization called COSO. We'll be learning about COSO later on. That issues, ISO 31000. What does it say? I have not, I have not used entire description. I have not used entire sentence. I have just taken only keywords from the definition. What are they? Effect of uncertainty on objectives. Your objective to, earn so much of profit. So and something has happened and that has affected your objective. That can be the risk. An effect may be positive, negative, or deviation from the expected. What is expected? Expected profit, expected growth in your sales percentage. Risk can be a change in circumstances or a consequence. Look at this. All these three keywords make a lot of sense. That is from ISO guide. The next one is IRM. This is also one of the leading risk management institutes. What does it say? Risk is the combination of the probability of an event and its consequence. An event may be like natural calamity. It may be earthquake. It may be floods. It may be fire. It may be an accident. So what is the consequences? Consequences can range from positive or negative. If you have taken calculated risk, the consequences can be positive. Okay, then it can be negative also. Particularly natural calamities, it may result in losses. The third one is Institute of Internal Auditors. It's also one of the leading organization globally. What do they say? The uncertainty. Well, all, if you see one common explanation here, uncertainty. Risk is nothing but something uncertain. So Institute of Internal Auditors also say uncertainty of an event that could have an impact on the achievement of the objectives, more or less whatever has been stated by IRM. Risk is measured in terms of consequences. So remember three things here. One, uncertainty. The second one is an event. And the third one is the consequences. Okay. Look here, some of the leading personalities, what they say. Roosevelt. Risk is like fire. If controlled, it will help you. If uncontrolled, it will rise up and destroy you. Uh, have you heard about Warren Buffett? He is known as investment guru in the world. Investment guru. He says this comes from not knowing what you are doing. If you do something without knowing, that's a risk. Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett also says, like, if you want to manage risk, there is one tool called derivative. He says derivative are destructive instruments. It's like a double-edged sword hanging on your head. If you don't know how to manage it, it will kill you. When I say it will kill you, financially. Okay. Uh, Now we have seen what is risk. We have seen how it is defined by certain organization, by certain personalities, and how they have been managing. Warren Buffett is the investment guru, global investment guru, and we have heard what they say about risk. Now, what are the type of risk? There are certain risk events that can only result in negative outcomes. These risks are hazard risk or fuel risk. Like I was mentioning earlier, earthquake. It results in loss, peril, hazard. There are certain risks that give rise to uncertainty about the outcome of a situation. These are control risks, which can be controlled. Like for example, project management. Certain risks can be controlled. And there are two main aspects of in this risk. Opportunity risk. Risk need not necessarily be dangerous. Risk need not necessarily uh, involve in loss. There can be an opportunity, there can be a threat. The threat can also be positive. The opportunity can also be positive. So risk, dangers associated with taking an opportunity, not taking an opportunity. If you take an opportunity along with that risk, you can also gain whatever you expect. So now what is that we have seen so far? Definition, then types. So how do you describe risk? What is risk? How do you, if at all I want, come on, write a few words on risk description. So when it comes to managing a corporate, when it comes to managing a bank or an insurance company, we have to take the entire gamut of risk management. So what are the control mechanisms? What are the activities? What are the responsibilities in developing risk strategy? Every organization, my dear, remember, they have risk policy. If you open any K10 report, what is known as annual report, almost 20 to 30 pages are devoted only to talk on risk. Their risk structure, their responsibilities, the risk they have managed, the tools they have, all these things we are going to learn, don't worry. This is only first session. So responsibilities for developing risk strategy and policy. Maybe you would have learned, there is a policy for dividend policy, HR policy, debtors policy, capex, that is capital expenditure policy. Similarly, now risk management policy is also assuming importance. Risk improvement recommendation, then how to implement the improvements, and what are the responsibility of, let's say, board of directors, the audit committee. When it comes to bank, there is a committee called ALCO, Asset Liability Committee. So the risk description includes right from how the risk policy is described and how the risk finally managed in the entire organization, where we'll be learning ERM, that is enterprise risk management. Then comes scope. These are all basic definitions, and it is very essential that you understand this. I've already mentioned risks can be threat and opportunity also. Potential positive events that may befall a project, as well as the negative. Befall a project means the events that occur as far as project management is concerned. I mentioned in my opening sentence, risk management remains an integral part. In fact, I use the word imperative, indispensable, essential, a component of any project management methodology. These are the risk scope. What is that we have learned today? Just an introductory talk. What is risk? What are the type of risk? What is the scope of risk? What is the description of risk? How the managements manage the risk? How it is documented. Well, friends, I hope this introductory talk has been properly understood by you, the definition, etc. We'll continue and we'll meet again. Thank you so much.